Hello, hello everyone!
Hello, hello.
Can you see and hear this? We've got new sounds. The last time we upgraded to, actually 2 streams ago we upgraded to cameras, I think. And today we got some nice sounds in the background. Be sure to let us know if the sound levels are off or if you want them just a little bit louder or quieter, however you like.
I'm getting everything pulled up here. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Been having a good week. Let's see. Cool. Think I got everything up. Looks like we're live everywhere. Thank you guys for joining us, as always. We'll do our best not to bore you, answer any questions you got, and yeah, enjoy the music. This is a preview of the Sim Casino soundtrack you're hearing in the background. Definitely let us know if it is too loud or anything. Otherwise, we're going to hope that Joshua doesn't burn down his airport.
Oh right, wanna play with fire?
Hey, you can't beat some fire.
Oh wait, I actually had it on.
Yeah, I want it on. It's much more exciting, especially with the notifications now. Because you can actually see what's going on.
Hmm.
We're live on YouTube, Twitch, and Steam. If you have any questions for us, we're more than happy to answer questions. I'm Arthur, one of the lead developers here with Joshua. If you haven't been on our stream before, we call it a fireside chat. We're not pushing anything, or we're really just here to play the game and have some fun and kind of relax. It's a nice way to end the week for us.
Declan on Twitch just said can't hear any music. It seems like this song is, one song is pretty quiet or just doesn't have much music in the end. But it's definitely running, so just give it a second and there's gonna be more coming.
Yeah, you may have to advance the track even. A couple of these, so
It just advanced, by the way.
cool. If you're not familiar, Jerry Martin has done the soundtrack for some casino. Some of the tracks are still they're not quite the final mix. And there's also a little bit of mastering that has to go on. It's my understanding. I'm a little lost when he starts talking music. I'm quickly in over my head, but yeah. So it may be a little quirky or some volume issues, but if there are, let us know. Or hopefully you like it.
I just put it up a little bit and also put the whole sound volume a bit up too. So it should be louder. We should both be louder now.
Good deal. Yes, on Twitch, they couldn't hear.
QCS reported.
So we do have fire on, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I was just lucky enough to not have one yet.
So far.
To be fair, not much happening currently. Late at
Maybe we
night.
need multiplayer mode where I can come in and and put down fire.
Typical Arthur always just wants to see the world burn.
Hey, it's fun.
You know what's fun too? Having a functioning airport. Any ideas what we may sell in this store over here? Candy?
What's that?
What do we wanna sell in this store over here?
A little bit of everything. What are the needs?
Well, not much. Passengers are all pretty happy. But may as well add a new shop for more income.
So after this latest update, I'd expect that the game should be pretty darn stable. Like we worked through quite a few bugs this last cycle. Really trying to focus on user experience and just overall making sure, like, not trying to overextend ourselves, which is something we've gotten into trouble with in the past, and I can't help but do. And undoubtedly we'll do it again in the future still, but hopefully this patch is really one of the most solid that we've ever put out there. I mean, you found one bug this patch that I had screwed up probably, what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago? I had done my math wrong by 1 or 2, and it made every gate change plane be marked as really.
In any case, the gate had to change, or the plane had to use this standby gate. The plane was also set to delayed.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been very difficult to have found that. Is really, you couldn't go looking for it and find it again, probably.
To be fair, let's just talk about one of the changes to this cycle. So this cycle was mostly stability, but also a couple of smaller things, especially UI or just some general stuff that helps the player. And one of those is the perfect ops bonus stuff. For the older days, it may not perfectly show all the stuff, like for existing stuff, it may not know the gate, for example. But for all new flights coming in this patch, or for everyone who's played the game on Edge since this change, every new plane will have way more information and actually show it a little bit better on this list. So if you look at it, a little bit easier to just navigate and check this list out. Will state more information. For example, if a gate change happened, it will say what the issue actually was, and it will state that the gate was changed. So for any new flight, it will not be NA, but the actual gate. And if it's a standby gate, it will say in brackets standby, you enter new gate. And that's actually how we found it. A couple of guys with a lot of standby usage sent me a screenshot of late arrivals with the arrival time being before the scheduled arrival. And the game allows a 15-minute grace period, so if a plane is delayed by 15 minutes, it's still okay. It won't be a delayed flight as far as the ops bonus. But if it's coming 15 minutes early, or even half an hour early, that shouldn't count. And what we noticed is that basically every plane that was on a standby gate was set to delayed. And from that point on, you can work your way back.
Yeah, you have to notice that. And I mean, the game is so complex at times that noticing that pattern is easier said than done unless it requires a real hawk eye to You could look at that same screenshot and miss it probably 5 times out of 10. I was very happy to see that fix. I was also extremely embarrassed to have made that bug. About we went and looked at the commit history to see it was indeed my fault, which is not surprising. And it was like 2 years ago. But you live and you learn. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I bet over time there were actually some reports where the perfect ops wasn't calculated correctly, but there was always...
I know that there were. I remember
Yeah.
hearing people say that and being like, man, I've checked this code 30 freaking times. There's no possible way that there's a bug still. And it really, the bug wasn't in that code, to be fair. But...
Yeah. The first thing I debugged, I took the save in, and the first thing I debugged was, why is it setting the delayed flag? So I put a breakpoint on the delayed flag, and it never hit. Sometimes that's just Unity, and you have to restart, so I restarted, usual stuff, and tried again, and it never hit. But the flag was still set. So at some point you just notice, oh wait, this cannot be the flex enum. The flex enum, no, that the number cannot be wrong. Calculator.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was it, like 2048 times 2, and I got it wrong by like 1 or like 3
you probably
so
hit
stupid.
2040, and instead of hitting 8, you probably hit 9 times 2.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I added another flag. So the point in the flag system is that you always have the next number is always 2 to the power of 2. So you have 1, 2, 4, 8, and so on.
He went off my wrong number.
Yeah, I used his wrong number, timed it by 2, and for some reason that never happened to be a big problem for the game. That second number. No idea how. The first number was such a small thing. I mean, whenever standby gates is already something not used by basically a huge amount of players. It's fairly used, but not a huge amount. And having standby gates be delayed, I mean, that seems reasonable. So figuring that stuff out, just putting 1 and 1 together, doesn't happen really.
It really is. It's a tough one to have stumbled on. I'm pumped at how much got fixed this release. It's not to say it's going to be like bug free, but it's probably pretty damn close. Probably the closest it's ever been.
It's definitely really stable. Some stuff that changed too, and we may as well talk about it, since I had the government grants open. The lovely Bold Railway Dog, shout out to him, he himself is a game dev on the ATS team, so SCS software, Eurotruck and Eurotruck and ATS, so American Truck, and he did some streams with SimAirport, got some really great suggestions in. For example, something really small that we didn't ever come up. The fields. So the track part up here was just half a button too small. But that never occurred to us being a major thing, because grants, you open it, click the button, and then whatever. We usually don't play a feature out completely. So we don't see these small little UI details. And that change, plus the text being just big enough for... Yeah, it's perfectly big enough to accept the biggest text field. You could technically add modded stuff that may be bigger, but the default tracks do all fit in the box now.
This is the kind of shit that I hate. It drives me nuts. I was testing the build before it went out, and I saw like the tooltip bugs that I sent you, like stuff like that, just drives me nuts. It's tough to come across too. You get tunnel vision really easily.
Oh, yeah, by the way, the tooltip bug is definitely... I never noticed it really much, because I just do something. Oh yeah, I need to go to operations, click. I don't even look at the tooltips anymore. But if you take a look, gates and all the objects, they are fine. Only if you hover over your UI and then leave the UI. For the amount of duration it fades away, that's where the bug happens.
Because it's auto resetting or something
So-
like that, instead of resetting only after the text actually resets.
Yeah, so that's definitely one we can still fix. Wouldn't be too hard one.
We'll definitely get that fixed. It was driving me nuts. Same thing on the main menu too.
Yep, it's only over UI elements. Some other changes. We added some new notifications, especially some that help new players. Two things that I've often seen or was often reported, so we added it. Number one is the transport capacity. You actually have to check the transport capacity graph. But if you don't know the game or haven't ever played the game, you may never check this, or the transport delivery settings at all. So you may run into the issue that people just can't get to your airport or can't get out again. And especially can't get out again is problematic because you have a bunch of agents just sitting in the pickup until your airport is overloaded with agents. I've sometimes seen 50,000 agents just waiting to get out. So if the game notices that the average of your transport capacity is way too low, then it will notify you. So if there's a peak that is too high, that won't matter. That's not a problem. But if there's, on average, way too low transport capacity, you will get a notification for it. The second one is kitchens. Many new players and even a lot of existing players don't know the kitchen overview. This is a really, really helpful window, which shows you not only what can be served, but also what needs to be served from the assigned staff, and what specific objects are needed for each food item. It will also tell you some informational stuff down here, in this case how many plates need to be washed, but if there's no kitchen inventory, it will also state a warning, hey, you don't have kitchen inventory, we can't cook.
Man, we should make this easier to get to. I remember when... is it?
Yes. What happens if whenever an order cannot be fulfilled? So that happens, can be two things. A, you have no inventory, or B, any food of these or any of these objects is missing. So I've seen a bunch of people see the hot plate missing. They just forget it. When that happens, so let's say the cafe wants to have the avocado on toast served, but you don't have a hot plate, then the game will notify you, a notification will pop up and tell you, there is a kitchen which can fulfill an order. If you click on it, it will go to the kitchen with the camera, so you know which kitchen, and open this window.
Yeah, I love the notification concept. You've done a very good job with it too.
I mean, I've to be fair, I've taken a lot of inspiration on it from Anno, actually. I don't know, have you played Anno?
No, I haven't, but I know you brought it up a number of times when we were talking about.
It has a similar system where you have these bubbles on the left for important stuff, and I think that's a lovely system. And you said some time ago that we just have to balance it, right? So it shouldn't be annoying, but still informational.
That's the problem with notifications. Like we used to, I can remember so many corporate web app stuff where the PM was asking us for notification functionality, and it's always this big can of worms that they're like, we want to be able to get notified on all these events, and like by day 2, everyone's ignoring all their notifications because they're meaningless. If everything's a fire, what are you going to look at? It's a very difficult problem. But yeah, it's not that hard. It's just a matter of spending the time getting it right, which sometimes is a lot more time than you may think. Hey there, yours on Twitch.
Just one last word, and then we maybe can say hello to all the people who've shown up.
Yeah.
For the kitchen, it may be a bit annoying, but we'll have to see. So what happens is, if the kitchen notification comes up if there is a failure to fulfill an order. So an order, what is an order? Order can be the cafe requesting some food, or some placed store like the dessert kiosk requesting some food. And an order will fail if either some object is missing, or if there is no inventory. So you may get.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're gonna get spammed.
You don't get spammed. The game is smart enough to only give you one notification per kitchen. So if let's say this kitchen can't serve
at a given time until he dismisses it, right?
Yes, exactly. And if you dismiss it, it will be gone until it happens again. That is the one thing that may be a bit too annoying, but we'll have to see. I think it's still okay. If you don't have any stock, so let's say you just placed the kitchen and it still didn't hit midnight, which is the default for bringing in resources, bringing in stock, then you have this notification up telling you the kitchen can't fulfill an order. And you can click it away, but every couple of seconds the kitchen wants to fulfill an order.
Yeah, it's gonna come back.
That may be fine. I mean, if you look at this airport, I basically have 0 notifications over time. So if there's 1 or 2 saying, oh, your kitchen needs some resources, that may not be too bad. A notification doesn't have to be instantly dismissed. You can always have it stay for some time.
Am I seeing that right? Or do I see lights turning off?
Lights turning off?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Which lights?
Near the entry to your...
Yeah. The auto floodlights?
Yeah.
They turn on at evening and off at early morning.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize it was already 5:15 getting the light out. Then maybe turned off a little early. It's okay.
The cars also turn the light off, but I have yet still to see. I added a small piece of code that says, I think every 1 in 1,000 people will leave their light on and fuck the battery up.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. I haven't seen it either.
I'm still waiting for the picture. There is a small... The chance is there, but it's so small that no one has seen it yet. Or I've maybe broke the code, but whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes
maybe you just didn't get. You probably got it wrong. It's probably 1 in 5 billion chance or something.
Yeah, probably.
Could be a while before we see it.
Possibly got the numbers wrong there. But yeah, there is a chance. It's just really small. Wanna go through some questions and just say hello for a moment to all the people coming over?
Yeah. Hello to everybody. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and Steam as always. We're here at your pleasure. So if you got questions for us, you want to bitch about something, if the world is just a little bit frustrating right now, or you got SimAirport ideas or problems, really whatever you got, we're here to shoot the shit and to enjoy ourselves. It's kind of like I was saying, a good ending to the week. Always kind of look forward to these. Hopefully it'll be a lot smoother today than the last one. The last one, I think we were ready to kill something by the end of it because we were having internet connection issues that I think we've now since solved.
Yeah.
I will say I definitely had a few drinks after that stream last time. But yeah, so if you guys got anything for us, we're watching on YouTube and Twitch and Steam. If you haven't bought the game yet, why the hell not? If you're interested in Sim Casino, it's still in development. We're we're gonna start getting some beta players in pretty darn soon, probably in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I would guess, hopefully. It's coming along pretty darn good. We actually just tweeted a video of some of the customization and decor stuff. If you're not following the Sim Casino Twitter, now's a good time to go check that out as well. We've got the soundtrack playing in the background, just a little sample of it. It's a pretty kick-ass soundtrack. It's just under 2 hours, and yeah, it's freaking great. I could put it on repeat and code all day, and I mean, it's like fan-freaking-tastic. So hopefully you like that. And Yawaris is waiting for Joshua to talk to the chair. I mean,
I saw that
we
one.
can make that happen anytime. I'm always ready for a cigarette. Spend half my day working from outside with headphones on. I've got a machine set up outside. It's actually inside, but my monitor and keyboard and stuff are outside. So I've got a kind of second outdoor office. Although right now it's probably pretty hot here in Vegas already. Yeah, it's just under 100 degrees, and it's only 11:30 a.m.
I shot a little clocky thing with a thermometer, but I don't know if I can switch it to Fahrenheit. Let's see.
What is it? What's it say?
Well, it says 31C currently. I don't think I can set it to Fahrenheit.
That's 88 degrees in your house? I thought you went and bought an air conditioner.
Well, yeah, but it's not on because it's extremely loud. But no, currently it's really fine. It's I've got my fan, but it's not on for the stream either. It's okay. It could be a bit cooler, but the outside temperature is like 3 to 4 degrees less, and it's totally doable currently. We've also
I'm pretty sure my wife would divorce me if it was 90 degrees in our house. I'm pretty much positive.
we're also lucky to get a really big cold air front just coming through tonight and tomorrow. So for the next week it's going to be 10 degrees less. Starting from tomorrow.
I wish it was like that here. Here, I want to say the high today is 115, something like that. It's pretty brutal. I cut down a tree. Oh no, it's only 108 is the high. I cut down a tree branch last night on a 12-foot ladder, and I was absolutely exhausted just doing that for like 20 minutes. You're a cooling technician, you worse? That's cool. You could have helped install. I just got new HVAC installed to try to save some money.
You want to
could have come and given me a deal.
I mean, if you need someone, I can always ask on the Discord.
I think that I find HVAC so interesting. I mean, it's like voodoo, although the physics is like relatively straightforward.
You say this just wrote about the AC. May suck, but it also blows.
Yeah, and that at the end of the day, that's what matters. I will say the guys that put my HVAC in, I felt so bad. They were up in the attic and for like multiple hours. And man, it was 135 degrees in my attic. Oof.
Fire.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable.
No, like fire in the game.
Oh. Where?
So you can see any. Yeah, it's too early to see something. I think the notification. You know how the system works with heat.
Yeah. It comes that early?
Yes. A short version for the guys on the stream. Basically, any cell has heat, and only once the heat reaches a specific point it actually shows burning. So currently it's just blistering, basically.
It's currently
Oh, never
what?
mind. Never mind. It's already... Ah, we missed it. The fireman already put it out. We were just way too late. The fireman already put it out.
See your tooltip there? Yeah.
Oh, fire truck.
I want that shit fixed. That's so annoying.
This doesn't have any. Doesn't it
Then
usually show the...
Then it shouldn't be popping. Then it shouldn't be popping up a thing if it's empty or null.
Yeah, but shouldn't it show the vehicle name?
I would expect it to. Yeah, I'm not sure. It needs to be looked at.
Never noticed.
Also, was there actually a fire or was it just smolder?
Yes. No, there was actually a fire, we just missed it. I only saw the notification once the fire was already put out completely.
Gotcha.
The access to these areas is too good. If you have fire on the secondary terminal, like in the second floor, then we have some problems.
Fingers crossed.
By the way, I've got a couple of questions on the streams. I've also got a question on Discord, one from Elo. So if you just want to go through those, starting with the one on Discord from Elo. He says he can't watch the stream tonight, but he hopes that the video on demand is online for this one, which is to be for today. At least we don't have any troubles currently.
Yeah, no troubles, and I'm not drinking yet, so.
His question is, he just wants to get some updates on both games currently, actually. So, and I've seen, I think, Chick also asked how's the new game coming. We already talked some about it. I think, yeah, not too many more points to that one. To SimCasino.
Yeah, really, a couple of you guys that have been following us close, you could probably expect to get an email from us definitely in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be looking for you to kind of take it for a spin in a closed beta, and yeah, I mean, really, it's getting pretty close. The new game, it looks pretty good. Mod Air says we need AC and SimAirport on the roof. Just an idea. So we actually, in SimCasino, we've got some HVAC stuff, and we even have solar panels for the roofs. We don't have all the systems in to support them. We've got the models and the objects in and placeable, so they're almost a little bit decorish right now, but we do have plans to get further down in the systems for those. I think AC, honestly, I've always thought electricity was the one that made a lot of sense in SimAirport, because like that way you can have runway lights, there's a lot of electricity usage in an airport, like major electricity users, and being resource constrained or having a financial constraint to have to buy electricity would make for a very good mechanic that evolved over time. Can't say when or if we do it. I feel similar about the cargo stuff. It would be a good mid and late game addition. Same with I think electricity would be fantastic. And I think it would be better than HVAC, although they could really even go hand in hand. At the same time, there's a shitload of complexity in SimAirport already, just with like, it kind of just comes down to how much how complex you want to make it. but like, I mean, just the runways and taxiways aspects alone and scheduling, it's like there is almost unlimited, unbounded complexity if you seek that complexity. And so, I don't know. I don't want to hamstring the core gameplay with new systems either. It's a balance. Also, the reality is like some of our decisions in the past of like we took 5 months to get multiple floors done and out right away. I mean, it's kind of a trade-off. But yeah, greetings to Battery H, our first viewer on Steam that has spoken. Hello, Battery H.
Steam chat. Holy shit.
Yeah, Steam is actually streaming well today too.
Indeed, but it's usually quiet.
Yeah, it's almost always quiet, but it's good to
Happy
see
to-
it's not stuttering at least.
Happy to hear someone from the Steam forums, from the Steam stream.
Yeah.
Aloy also asked what the next cycle will bring for SimAirport. And we've basically the big one that was not finished this cycle is still overhangs and roads going up.
Yeah. What the ETA is on that is a little less certain. We're definitely prioritizing bugs over all else. And we're kind of trying to split time between Sim Casino a little bit more than usual. We will get overhangs in though. It's a matter of when. Almost surely it won't be on default until Q4. QCS on Twitch mentioned Fire needs an audio alert. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, did you get audio in for any of the alert stuff?
Nope. Do we have some good alert sound?
There are some ads that would work, yeah.
I mean, that should be trivial to add.
Yeah, it's super trivial. I put it on the list. You were us on Twitch. How many people are you again? So we've got 3 developers, myself, Joshua, Michael. Battery H is on both. We're monitoring everything. We try to be a jack of all trades, and sometimes that can be our demise. But we've got 3 of us, 3 developers. We've got 3D modeler, an artist. We've got audio. We've got Jerry Martin working on the soundtrack. But in terms of raw development, which is almost always our bottleneck, it's the 3 of us. And right now, what we've been basically doing for the last few months is Josh has been full-time on SimAirport. I've kind of gone back and forth and just kind of been providing guidance to him, making sure that high level we're staying on track. Michael and I have been working on Sim Casino. This past week or so, Josh has actually been helping out on Sim Casino more and more. Really, he's just doing a little bit of everything, superhero style. But that's kind of the reality of being a small team. Like we're able to move really quickly on stuff sometimes, but it also, I mean, there's only so much bandwidth we have. I'm pretty pleased though. I feel like we're doing a pretty good job, better than we probably did in the past in terms of staying on top of bugs and really not overextending ourselves. That said, we're obviously not getting as much stuff out. Like that first year, there were new features every freaking week, sometimes 3 features a week. Part of that is I've gotten older and I now have 2 kids. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of it's a lot harder to add features these days. All the easy stuff has been added. But yeah, hopefully you're happy with kind of the track we're on and what you've been seeing. There is more coming for SimAirport for sure. And yeah, you'll be playing Sim Casino before you know it too. Some of you guys, you know who you are, but you'll be playing it sooner than later too.
Just to iterate on it, like I was just said on Twitch, so very small studio, and yeah, the core team is basically us three. I hope we get Michael on some stream in the future.
Yeah, Michael's got set up for streaming. We'll have to coax him into it, but I'm sure we can get it done. I'm sure that he'll be on some of the Sim Casino streams that are going to be coming up in the future too.
I mean, look how professional we are looking now with our stream, where we've started with basically nothing 1.5 years back, or maybe a year back when we started streaming.
Yeah, now we have background music that we actually own, and it's actually solid stuff, and
you can see us.
You can see us. I'm not working 18-hour days like I was at the beginning, so my wife is a little happier with me, and not taking care of infants anymore. I got toddlers now, which makes life a little easier. They listen about 60% of the time, versus the infant just look at you like you're stupid.
By the way, you talked about new features. So I'm gonna take a small note and just talk about what features we usually add, or what we can categorize features in, and then get to one of the new features that we just added.
I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette then. You can talk to the chair.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Really clearly need to edit it then, but yeah, go ahead. So chat, we will be talking to chair for the moment. Let's try and actually write it correctly this time. There you go. We've got share stream. I'm still here, so that's fine. Features. We've got two sections, I'd say, on features, what we can do, which we can add. There's features that basically already exist in the base game and just need to have algorithms or mechanics tied together. And there's features that need a big load of new code or just a huge amount of rework. Roads going up, for example, is one that really needs a lot of reworking and some new code, definitely. There's some stuff like the pathfinding that we still have that works, that the cars don't mind if they are on the ground floor, below, or above. But some stuff like rendering, really tricky. Especially stuff that is rendered outdoor, was expected to never have something above. For gates that will never exist, but for the LRT, for example, or for general objects outdoors, those always were expected to render in any case, even if you're on 2 or 3. Roofing to some extent too, so anything you'd place on top of roofs is technically placed outdoor, so it will show up on all floors. So just an example to have for features where we actually have to change a lot to get it to work. And then, like what I said, we will get to walking gates. That's one of the new additions for this cycle. What is a walking gate? So a walking gate is pretty simple actually. You have remote gates, and they can now have 2 modes. The usual mode, which still exists, is the bus mode. You all know it by now. It's just the bus comes out to the plane, takes off the passengers, bus goes back to the pickup, loads off passengers, new bus comes to pick up passengers and brings them to the plane. That's the normal remote gate with a bus. I will call them bus gates now, or bus mode, or bus remote gate. And the new mode, and just say switch mode, And now this gate is in working mode. It will have different error messages because it has different needs. But what it does is, if you now connect sidewalk, I've got a road placed here now, so you'd have to use the crosswalk down here. But if you want to have the walking gate work, you just add sidewalk from in front of it, so around this space, specifically from where the door usually would be, but you can just add some more sidewalk and it will just work. And you have to connect the gate via sidewalk as well as the crosswalk. Those two work, as well as some modding stuff. You'll have to check the workshop pages for which flooring works, but some works. And with those types you can connect the gate all the way to a terminal building. I'm gonna build some here, just to show you. But I think the construction is going on pretty good. So what does it do? You can place I'm just gonna do it with planning. You can basically place a terminal and in the terminal you can place a gate agent desk with some door behind it and sidewalk to the gate. Just gonna extend sidewalk there, sidewalk here, sidewalk here. In this case it would be crosswalk. And you can assign the gate agent desk to the gate and have your passengers walk from the inside of your terminal over the sidewalk. They can't go over grass if the area is secure, but they can go over sidewalk and crosswalks to the gate. This is mostly done for low-cost airlines. If you check out, for example, Berlin-Tegel Airport, there's a big hall with just gates in front where you don't actually have any buses driving or gate fingers or jetways attached. You just have a bunch of walkways to the gate, to the planes. I think it was also done mostly like that in older times. To go full circle to what I just discussed, this was one of the smaller or the easier things to add, because the mechanics basically were there. We just added one cycle ago or 2 cycles ago, so I don't quite remember when exactly, but we added in that passengers can go into sidewalk. So you could have secure areas where pucks can go outside on sidewalk. They are not allowed on grass because they could, for example, get out of here on this terminal and go back into this terminal, and we want to prevent that. So they can only go outside on these specific tiles. And we added that some time ago to have some fancy outside areas within the secure area. And since that is a pretty finalized working mechanic and was in the game already, we basically just had to change how the gate checks for the reachability. So usually the gate checks is this position somewhere along this door reachable. Basically, can a passenger move from the gate agent desk to this door and then into the gate? And basically the same is happening with the walking gates now. Just that you have the gate agent desk here and they can walk over here and battery age. Yes, but no. Yes to they are assigned just as usual, as you would to a normal gate agent desk. The gate agent desk has to be inside the terminal, but other than that, there's no difference basically. Passengers don't mind going over these areas, so you won't get a complete negative effect. Let's say it like that. Could be added. Not too sure. may take a look at that. It's a good idea, of course. So currently you could technically have a sidewalk exiting over here on the terminal, go all the way 1,000 times back and forth, and then to some gate in the distant corner of the airport. And they'd be happy with it. It will take ages, and you cannot cross taxiways at all. You just can't. Also, runways you can't cross. So you'd have to make your layout according to that. Frustrated passengers entering a plane increase your airport rating? Technically, yes. If you don't have if you have unsatisfied passengers and they are gone, then your rating goes up. So yeah, it needs to be taken a look at. Battery. That was actually an idea by A-Train. I don't know if you've seen his videos. A-Train is doing some lovely videos for a long time on SimAirport. We talked about this feature, and yeah, that is a possibility. Adding some covered sidewalk, where passengers are not secured, not safe, some other word, protected from the weather. Question then is, how much would that make sense? For short walks like this one, this takes maybe 10 seconds. So you'd have a passenger be frustrated for 10 seconds, and then he's gone. Oh, I've got an Arthur back.
Yes, indeedy.
And I'm just gonna finish the talk, and then did you watch?
Yes, I did. I've
Perfect.
been
So
intently watching. I've been learning.
So just gonna finish in the thought. So the question then is, for this short walk, that wouldn't be a lot. That's 10 seconds maybe. The passenger would get a little bit frustrated, and then he's gone. So it doesn't even matter for your rate. For longer walks, that would be a nice penalty, because the longer the walk, at some point you just get a penalty from it, and you'd have to build some new secondary terminal or something like that. Definitely a good idea. You said you've been learning?
Yeah, I learned some stuff. I was listening. Have you played any more Flight Sim, by the way?
Yeah, I did one flight yesterday. I planned out a route around the world, which is like the typical thing you do, I think, in a new flight sim. With the A320. Flight sim has the A320neo. Sadly, no 737, which is annoying because the A320 is way too smart for me. Basically, the plane handles everything for you instead of you handling the plane.
Yeah, it's tough, especially if you're not truly familiar, because you don't know exactly what it does handle.
Yeah, like you don't actually have a lot of autopilot switches. In the 737 you have a switch for every single version of the autopilot, and if you click one of those, the plane just does it. But if you click something in the Airbus, it just does it, but in a different way. Really funky.
Yeah, it's they're pretty distinct systems.
So just a common world example. I think everyone even without flight sim knowledge can understand. You can tell the plane to ascend. So let's say you want to go from 10,000 feet to 20,000 feet. So you set the plane to go to 20,000 feet. The Boeing just goes to 20,000 feet at a specific rate. That rate is a hard number. And
I thought you could adjust. Vertical.
Yeah, you can adjust, but by default it's a fixed number. So you always have the same ascent rate. And if you slow down in that time, It's your job as a pilot to power up the engines and give it some more speed. In the Airbus, if you tell it to climb to 20,000 foot, it will first level off, get the speed up to the one selected, and then start climbing. And it will not climb to a specific rate, it will climb as fast as possible with the speed you have selected.
My guess is that is configurable. It's a matter of knowing.
Yes,
how
it
to
technically
configure
is. You can tell it to climb with a specific rate, but I think that may mean that you cannot climb to a specific altitude.
I'd be surprised. My guess is it's a matter of understanding
Probably.
the system. Like I'm familiar with G1000. My favorite aircraft to fly is Cirrus, and I like it with the G1000s. And on that, you can achieve all of them. I'm sure that you can on
Probably
any of those systems too. It's just a matter of understanding it. When I first went from Cessna to Cirrus, it was like I was totally lost. But once I started flying simulator G1000, I quickly figured out exactly what the hell I was doing. But I'd be totally lost though in an Airbus or a Boeing.
Boeing's actually pretty simple. It's literally you have dials, you set what you want, and then press a button. The Airbus is a little more complicated. Like I said, it does a lot for you, but if you know how it works, it does get you to the place you want to go. So, like I said, I started around the world trend. I did one flight yesterday from Hanover, my local big airport, down to northern Italy to Bergamo. Smaller airport in the north.
Are you impressed with the graphics still?
Yes, the graphics are great, especially of the clouds. If you get too close to especially some ground textures, they are not the best, because it's still just being satellite image. But overall, it's great experience. Like, to be fair, you're flying a plane, and if you're flying serious, you barely have time to watch the scenery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure the plane gets ahead of you very fast, and fast planes can get ahead of you extremely quickly. That's why they say you gotta stay ahead of the plane. I used to fly on, what is it called, Pilot Edge, where you've got ATC controllers. I think now they just cover the US West Coast and maybe a little bit of European airspace. But I used to fly my sim on that service because then you can get radio. That's the thing I'm least confident at. Like, your nerves go to hell when you start making radio transmissions rapidly, and you got to write everything down. It's real easy to tell who the student pilots are when you're listening.
Yeah, I guess the big community now is VetSim, if you've heard of it.
Yeah, well, VetSim's been around forever.
That's like the biggest. And
yeah,
it's already integrated.
They're a full sim, but Pilot Edge is cool because it's like a pay service, and so you get highly qualified ATC guys.
I've seen VetSim has really high requirements for ATC too. It doesn't have any requirements for the players though. So ATC, they actually have a learning program for ATC now. But for the players, there can be basically anything from first time playing flight sim to actual pilots. So communication sometimes is a little bit funky.
Yeah, that's what's cool about Pilot Edge is, like, I think I don't know if they're 24 hours still, or if they may only be like 14 hours a day or something, but you're guaranteed ATC availability like when you log on. So I used to go fly a flight lesson, and then I'd come home and I'd fly the exact same flight lesson on my simulator with Pilot Edge, because what I always struggled with the most was just radio. it's not difficult. It's just it requires focus, and yeah, you don't want to screw up.
But yeah, overall, it's the launch day was a bit bad of an experience.
Yeah, I saw the reviews. The reviews were torturing. They were really sticking it to the download process or something.
Yeah. So usually a preload would be you have got the full download.
Yeah.
But for the flight sim, it was just like, I don't know, about the gigabyte. And then the other 91 you had to download when you first launched it.
That's so dumb. And yeah, I saw the Steam reviews are, there's no way to get a refund on the game because you have to have the game open. What a stupid reason to end up with negative reviews for a game of that magnitude. Like, some UX guy, hopefully, is getting hired and gonna fix that, because that's just so absurd.
Modea is saying goodbye for tonight. So goodbye, Modea. Thanks for coming along.
Bye, Modera. Thank you for joining us. As always, love your mods. Hopefully we see you next time.
There was also an issue with the ATC on Microsoft Flight Sim. So they use, for the ATC stuff, they try to use the Azure cloud. But the Azure cloud, due to launch day, is so totally overused and underpowered. You basically never have ATC. You just hear and that's it. No text to speech at all. You can just set it to offline if you have, and that's really annoying. If you have the UK language pack installed, it doesn't work. You have to install the US language pack. So I couldn't switch it over. I have the UK, I have my system set to UK, and I couldn't switch over because I had to get the US language pack. Since I've installed that one, I've always got, I've just switched Asia off and to offline mode, and since then it's fine.
See, the text to speech drives me nuts because you catch because it feels so fake. Like, you catch little things that, yeah, you end up getting used to that, and then you go hop in a real plane and you're quickly overwhelmed because the cadence is just different. That's why I really love Pilot Edge, but
yeah, to be fair, that's not the text-to-speech fault. It's just the system on how it works fault.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, part of it's ATC's fault is that their cadence is freaking quick, and yeah, I mean, if you listen to any ATC, you get it. I listen to ATC, or I often listen to interesting events and stuff. I tend to listen to it in like 2x speed these days. My wife is like, "Are they even speaking English?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he just said he's declaring an emergency. He's coming around. He's low on fuel, whatever it may be." Battery age, yeah, you know, they really are. All the small airports I've ever flown out of, they're very understanding, and like, they totally get it. Still though, it's really just more nerves for me than anything. And you still got to manage the plane while you're doing all that. In a Cessna, it's a lot easier to be a student pilot. Like, there's not as much. The plane's never going to get ahead of you, really. I found myself though having the Cirrus get ahead of me much easier. And then you're like behind on the plane, and you're trying to catch up, and you're trying to stay focused and not screw up a radio call.
It's a bit
I don't know.
sad.
I guess that's why I'm still a student pilot after 10 almost 15 years of flying now.
It's a bit sad they didn't implement the shared cockpit functionality yet. You probably know
Is there any VR?
VR is coming, and shared cockpit is also still coming. So they released the base game, but stuff like that is still on the roadmap for future. I hope especially for the shared cockpit. I'd love to fly with one of my friends. And then
Yeah.
with 2 people in an Airbus on VetSim, that's way more manageable.
Oh yeah, and that's why like I maybe will pick up the game today, but I'll never fly. Won't even try to fly a jet or anything. I'll only fly something that I've got the checklist for and that I can. Although do they have like the checklist built in and everything?
Partially. For the smaller planes, I think the series has a full checklist, and the system is really great. I love it for single player flying. You can click evaluate, and it will go through each point, and it will put the camera where the buttons are you have to press. And the co-pilot is really doing the voice while going through the checklist. So it's extremely helpful, and it feels nice when you play it in single player. But, the big but, the A320 for example and the 747, which are the base game default airplanes, both the 2 big jets, they only have engine start checklist. So before engine start, and after engine start. Not even before taxi.
They don't have any of the other checklists?
Nope.
That's weird.
So you can get your engines up, but that's it.
I mean, I'm sure you can find them online pretty trivially, but
I don't know. I've seen the SDK seems to be pretty good. Some people are already working with it. So, yeah. The big issue though, there's some really big issues with the terrain. So I don't know if you know Stuttgart. It's a bigger town in south of Germany. They have an airport, which is the 6th largest airport in Germany. It's just completely gone. It's just an empty grass field.
No kidding. I saw that there's a huge building in Australia.
Yeah, battery age. Stuttgart is just gone. The community thinks it's because of the military force at Stuttgart. There isn't much. There is 1 helicopter of the US Army. But I think due to that, the whole airport is blurred out on big maps. And because they only use the satellite imagery and not charts to get the airports done, they just missed Stuttgart completely.
Yeah, that's so strange they didn't use charts. I mean, airspace is pretty detailed.
Yeah, like Ramstein, for example, the actual US airbase in Germany, that one is completely modeled fine. So.
Well, I know there's like a 220-story tall building in Australia that I watched a YouTube video of a guy taking like 70 attempts to try to land on this little tiny building. He finally gets it. I was so annoyed too because he should have gotten it way earlier. He had a strong headwind, and it's like lesson 3 in a Cessna slow flight. Like, he should have been able to put it down so easily. But yes, I guess some kind of typo in the OpenStreetMap data resulted in that building.
It's fixed by now on the OpenStreetMaps, but I have no idea when Flight Simulator is gonna get the update.
They'd fix it that quick?
But it's OpenStreetMaps. It's an open source service.
Yeah, I thought it was like Wikipedia where the moderators were heavy-handed.
No, not even on Wikipedia. Stuff is edited so fast. Like Tom Scott made a video a couple of days ago, and just an hour later the article was updated.
Yeah, but half the time you see those get reverted 3 minutes later.
If it's written badly or the citation is not good enough, it will be reverted, yes. In this case, it was a picture and a clear citation, so it's instantly approved.
I'm sure it's topic specific. I've made grammar fixes before and had them be reverted for seemingly no reason, but I don't know.
But yeah, OpenStreetMaps is, I think, generally a bit more open, less moderated.
And it's a hard problem. Wikipedia, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember having to go actually pull encyclopedia down, and yeah, I think I took a class just on how to do sourcing for encyclopedias. So yeah, like doing math without a calculator. Well, it's noon here. I would say that means probably time for a beer on a Friday.
I mean, if you want one, go ahead.
Well,
I
I
ain't
don't see
gonna
any
take
reason.
one.
I don't see any reason not to get the day off to a good start.
Battery Age
Yeah.
just wrote on Twitch, well, if they have it and you want a challenge, try Toledo suburban, landing on a postage stamp. I guess it's such a small airport.
I'm gonna have to fire up my Windows machine just to fly my sim.
Oh my god. He's using
Yeah.
Windows.
It's so scary every time I start it up. Like if I'm going to test the game or test something, I start it up and I gotta wait like 6 hours because it has to run Windows updates every single freaking time.
By the way, what are the specs on that one? Like which graphic card and which CPU do you have?
Every time you ask me this, I have to go look. It's a pretty high spec machine. I bought it the day before. No, it arrived at my house the day before SimAirport launched because we needed to do Windows testing. None of us had a Windows machine, and yeah, so we quickly ordered it, and then there were all kinds of problems on Windows. So it's an i7 7700K 4.2, the GTX 1080, 8 gigabyte, 32 gigs of RAM.
Should be fine.
Liquid cooled.
The 7700K isn't the best in multi-core performance anymore, but single core is really decent. And
the 1080 should run it decently though.
Yeah, that should be fine. To be fair, especially on airports that are handcrafted like Charles de Gaulle, Gaulle. I don't know French. The main one in Paris. That one is handcrafted, and even with my 2080, RTX 2080, the FPS just tank down to partially 25 FPS. If you look over the whole airport, you go down to 20.
Do you have the settings maxed?
No, I've got it on medium.
No shit, and it's still,
yeah.
Wow.
If I put up the power target to 111%, I can get some more frames up to 30. But I've got a blower style card, so it's like it's extremely loud. Let's say it like that.
Would my RX 5700 XT run it faster?
Nope.
It'd be slower than the 1080.
I'd have to look it up, but I'd expect so, yes.
I believe a brand new card versus card I got in March 2016. For the longest time, I could have sold the computer that I bought in March 2017. I could have sold it for more than I paid because the GPUs went through the roof.
Oh yeah, due to the mining stuff.
Yeah. Looks like they're actually pretty comparable. The 5700 will do a little better in GTA 5 and in Fortnite. Not quite as good in CSGO. Exactly the same at PUBG and Overwatch. I used to be so into the all this hardware. Now I'm looking at the site and I'm just totally lost. David S., this beer came from Belgium.
What?
He asked, where did that beer come
Yeah,
from?
that I read that. What did you said, Belgium?
It came from Belgium.
I somewhat doubt.
Brewed by Family Brewery, Hugie, 9090 Mel, Belgium.
Mm-hmm. Getting the fancy stuff.
Yes, this stuff is the fancy stuff. It's delicious, and I'm out of my go-to, my Stella. My wife is bringing some home, though, so don't you worry about me. I will be okay.
I got water. If you want to know from where, it's the Sösetalsperre. So basically a dam.
Your water?
Hmm.
I don't even know where my water. I guess it comes from Lake Mead. Just pretty not lake-like these days.
That's the lake on the Hoover Dam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a reservoir, really, but the Colorado is not what it used to be, not what it once was. I don't have a line of Delirium Red sitting next to me. Just I've got a couple of 4-packs of them. They're like $20 a 4-pack, I think. They're expensive. In the evenings, I usually, after the kids go down, I usually have one.
Uh-oh. Oops. That wasn't the greatest of great ideas I had.
What?
I placed the doors for the walking gates, but forgot to close off the stuff down here. So now there's. Oh wait, I can just.
Just fence it off, yeah?
Well, fencing it off takes some time, but I can just delete the stairway really quickly. Come on, guys. Remove it.
Yeah. Why don't you use 2x speed?
I'm putting it up to 3x. Ah!
Oh.
People everywhere. Ah, there's still a hole from fire. Close it. Actually, don't close it. The people need to get home.
It's been a while since I felt like this, but just watching you play, like really closely watching, I'm like, damn, that's not how I would have built that. It makes me want to play so badly. It's been a while since I felt like, man, I want to play.
Let's place a new one now. It's there. Let the people go home. Not down, up. Luckily security doesn't have to function to make a sector secure. But at least packs can go home now.
Can you go back to the above ground view? Are they still lit up outside?
What?
Yeah, I want to fix that. The passengers being lit up outside. They don't respect daylight, the ambient.
Oh. Is it just the new render or the old one too?
I think I broke it for the old one too. They're also not. They no longer carry their bags.
Yeah, that's an old problem. I think you removed it due to performance.
I broke it in the same update because of performance. Honestly, it took like 3 months before anybody said anything about it, and so I was planning to go back and fix it, but after 2 or 3 months of nobody noticing it was gone or being worried about it, I was like, might as well just leave it.
Some people ask about it, but not really frequently.
I would like to add it back. I will say you mentioned this a little bit ago, the rendering stuff. Rendering is still the bane of my existence, and if there are any shader programmers out there listening that would like to, take on a contract and get free reign to help make shit look better, both in SimAirport and SimCasino, please reach out. Especially if you really know your shit.
Shader.
Yeah, it's just. It's not. It's such simple shit. It's a matter of how do you string it together in the right way to make it. I don't know. I told Michael the other day I was working on some rendering stuff for slot machines. We want to make sure you can have like thousands of slot machines and that it'll be performing well for some casino. And I was telling him the other day, I was like, man, it is damn near a miracle that games have been as advanced graphically as they have been, because this shit is hard. Like, I was like, just making TV screens play on in-game slot machine models and getting thousands of them to play, I mean, it's freaking hard. It is. It's a miracle. Like, I don't know. Game dev is something else. I wouldn't give it up for the world, but it is. It's something else.
I somewhat broke this layout, but I'm gonna be lazy and just add a little bit more foundation. I can't place another metal detector down here. I will have to add some. It's nighttime, so I can probably easily add some speed also.
Yeah, what are you avoiding it because of frame rate?
Yeah, at daytime.
What's your frame rate?
Currently, it's about dead on 60 FPS.
What
Just
at 3x speed?
yeah, on 1x and 3x, it doesn't matter.
How many agents?
Not many. About 200 passengers plus all the staff.
How many
maybe,
staff? 150.
Maybe 200 total. Maybe, okay, a bit more. Maybe 500 in total.
Arthur
So,
may have a weekend project here.
what?
Yeah, well, it should perform better than that. I don't know why.
I actually took a look at it some time ago. It's a bit longer ago, so I'm not, my mind is 100% on it. But last I checked the actual agent calculations, the state machine of the agent was the main problematic point. I don't know if that's the state machine itself, so the movement manager, for example, the state machine plus the task state machine, or if it's just the tasks it's executing.
Or is it, so there is I know this from working on Sim Casino code, there was, we'll just say there was a regression in performance on C Runner about a year and a half ago. And I wonder if that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Didn't change it.
I don't know. It wasn't you. It was
no, in general, we didn't change it that much.
Yeah, if you look at the commits, you'll see there's one change related to calling on error. Remember, you found that the other day.
Yeah.
I showed it. The lookup for that, it's using a concurrent dict and enumerating it every frame, which I got to double check the IL, but I want to say that is a allocating and very slow enumeration, because it has to basically make a copy of the key value every time. It has to do that with a lock.
Oh,
yeah, I'd have to look at it.
Especially locks with slowdown stuff.
Yeah.
I just learned that from a Reddit post that locks seem to be, especially on tight loops, are actually really, really heavy on performance.
Oh yeah. Well, it can depend. It depends on how you're accessing them, what the load profile is. If you're coming at it from multiple threads, though, yeah, you can end up getting worse than single-threaded performance really freaking quick. And that's part of why Unity's main API is not thread friendly, is because, and why they went with dots. But I won't get started on that. If you want to know how annoyed I am by some Unity stuff, you can go look me up on the Unity forums and see
There's a lot. Let's say it like that.
some of my rants. Although I will say I sent them a covariance bug the other day. I thought that they were backburnering it because he won't give me a fog bugs case number for it. Like 2 hours later, an actual dev responded he found the issue and they're trying to get the test to pass and get it in upstream. He said it was I don't know if I showed you that one. I showed it to Michael.
You did.
There was a second one. After they fixed the first one, they pulled in the mono upstream, and I still had the same freaking problem.
No, you definitely showed me the first one. At which point I took a look at the mono repository.
Yeah, well, I found the upstream fix, and I see in Unity where they merged that in.
Yep.
There's another bug though in Git component that's just inside of Unity's stuff. It's funny, I'm talking about this and literally I just got a Visual Studio update, as if like maybe it'll have a new mono with the bug fixed. That's probably wishful thinking.
Yeah, Visual Studio doesn't really update that stuff.
Well, actually, they do ship with core and everything, but yeah. Anyway, I don't mean to bore you guys. Sometimes I need to rant, especially half of Delirium Red, and the ranting flows a lot smoother. QCS, yeah. Like I was curious, the same thing, yes, how many workers you have. We showed it, but I really want to look at performance. I feel like there's been a regression. I can remember getting saves when I was doing what you've been doing here lately, triaging inbound emails, basically, inbound bug reports. I can remember pulling saves up with 75,000 and getting 10 or 15 frames. And I feel like right now you got 400 agents, and
I'm currently at 3.5K plus the staff, so at about 4,000, and I'm getting 30.
How do you know what you're getting?
I've got the Steam overlay. It's a small number, but I think it's not in the recording. Yeah, it's not in the recording. It's just a small number in the top left. Steam has an overlay for it. I think, let me check really quickly, I'm gonna try. You may not hear game sound for 1 second. Let's try. Global at common SimAirport airport. Do I have an FPS counter? No.
It's a failure.
Nope, can't get it on in a second.
No worries.
Doesn't seem to. I probably would have to restart SimAirport, but we don't have to do that now.
Yeah, no worries. I may take a look at it, and it drives me nuts.
If you know which or where to take a look at, and if it actually is the C runner, it may be a pretty simple fix. Get some great performance out of it.
Yeah. So basically, it's the. Oh shoot! I can't open Visual Studio while I'm updating it. I did that the other day on my other computer, and it means I have to reinstall Visual Studio. It's basically when you look at it later, look for the concurrent dict, and this is just off the top of my head, but the concurrent dictionary, and you need to maintain the functionality of calling on error if something throws exception, so that the catches can get routed somewhere. Basically, I think that enumeration probably is slow as molasses. I would pull it up.
So
I
it
can't.
isn't actually in the state machine itself, but rather in the coroutine runner.
That's what I think, yeah. And you could wrap it in some profiling to check for sure.
Probably.
I mean, the state machine isn't the fastest itself, but it's actually pretty fast because it's not using interfaces, it's using delegates. So it's a single allocation, and then it's a known memory lookup spot, and there's no if checks or anything. It calls a void do nothing method if there is no method. So it's
Yep.
it basically follows all the rules for writing fast code.
I don't particularly like the implementation, but that's not the point of performance. I really hate that it doesn't have references. So basically, I think it's done via reflection. So which state to execute or which method to execute is found via reflection. And that's a bit annoying when debugging stuff.
Yeah, the positive side is it's a one-time setup per type, so it doesn't hurt at runtime. It is annoying though to debug. It's better than our first implementation of state machine though.
What was the first implementation? Self-made state machine?
Yeah, it was a case statement.
Case statements.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Oof. I had to go at some point, just as a weekend project, and went ahead to try make a state machine. I went a totally different approach, where each state is basically its own class. And we usually have for states we have the enter and update methods, right? So what I did is make a state one class, and inside that class we have the enter and update method, and then have the states pool. So you technically
reuse it.
Yeah, you technically don't have allocations, but it's pooled.
Well, I mean, that's about what we have right now. There's no real need to pool the states individually.
Well, yeah, the
because
states
you're
are just...
always it's a stateful. It's always the exact same per agent. So
yeah,
you can pool the entire state machine together.
exactly.
The main change I would make to what we have right now to make it faster would be try to make it structs. Because then you would have inline memory allocation of the reference to the method call. And so it could work exactly as it is now, but with structs. The only downside is you got to go through the other code and find any places that are calling it and make sure it's hitting an array and not a list. And you've got to worry about sizing it. But I guess probably could get 25% speed up just by swapping it to a struct. Because then, yeah, just to get the contiguous, another use of my word, contiguous RAM, which would, probably be a massive gain for that. The references would all be contiguous in memory, where the underlying wouldn't, but you might not, you'd have to profile it, but my guess is you would save a shitload of overhead on the loop itself.
Let's see, we've got a gate working. A walking gate, so I put it on W1. Let's get some smaller planes for it. Oh yeah, Beechcraft to just start off with. Oh yeah, also just the little, really small tooltip stuff. I've added the minimum runway length requirement to the hover of this menu. So whenever hovering over a scheduled flight, you can now see how long the runway must be for that flight.
That pisses me off so bad.
What?
The leading or the kerning, I always forget which word it is, but the line spacing of flight number versus the number of airline on flight scheduler drag and drop targets.
Do you mean the spacing so that it's off screen?
Yeah, like that line spacing is too much. If even just reducing it slightly, it'll be much closer to being all within it.
We can probably reduce that a little bit, plus also make the bar a little bit higher.
Yeah,
There's some space left.
the bar, there may be enough space to make it a little bit bigger, but when you overlap two of them, the bar grows a little bit, so you got to be aware of that at the very least.
Oh, right.
It's so that you can identify the overlap.
Yep.
You got nothing on B6? Or is that the one you just built?
B6 and B8. I think that's the two big ones. Yeah. I just don't have big flights I want to put on those. I think I'm playing with only default airlines? Yeah, in this airport I only play with default airlines. And I'm just out of... What do you mean, what is that?
The Z fighting.
Where?
On the flight schedule headings.
Ah.
I think if you scroll it goes away.
Yeah, if you scroll it goes away, and if you... That was closing it. And if you remove a flight, it comes back up. Yeah,
Noted.
but like I said, B6 and B8 are XL gates, but I don't have any great XL flights I'd like to put on there. I have some new by now, but I may schedule them in a second. I just want to place some smaller flights onto the W1, just to show it off. Seven 737s on a walking gate, that seems reasonable. I mean, that's basically Ryanair, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say I walked to a pretty big plane. I think it was probably A320 though. But I recall walking at JFK. In fact, I'll never forget this flight. It was just before they changed the law. I think I've mentioned this on a stream before. Sorry, slap me if I'm just telling you, repeating stories. But yeah, I walked to the plane at JFK. I think it was a Delta flight. We walked on the tarmac, got on board. I was already annoyed. It was hot. It was like 95 and humid. Got on the plane, and then we sat on the tarmac for 8 hours.
Damn.
And I remember I got a call from the person that was going to pick me up at the airport in Indianapolis. And she's like, it says you've landed. Like, are you going to come get your bag and like come out here? And I'm like, landed? We haven't even taken off. She's like, what are you talking about? It says flight arrived on time. I was like, oh, so that's how they set their on-time percentages.
We say it's on time, so it is on time.
Yeah, we ended up finally taking off after 8 hours 40 minutes on the runway or on the tarmac at JFK. And yeah, it was miserable. About 2 years later, they passed a law that if you're on the tarmac over 2 hours, I think in the U.S., they have to get you off the plane.
I've still got the one time where I went to Mallorca for holidays for a week, and the plane which would take me out didn't even start. So the inbound flight that would take me outbound wasn't even on the way yet. At the point where my flight would depart, technically.
Yeah, that's these days it's like it used to be that they would have a much more cushion on turnarounds. These days though it's
There's
like,
basically none.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see a lot more delays and stuff. But I mean, I had a streak going. I missed 13 flights in a row at one point. And I just prior to that, I had caught like 20 flights in a row. I don't know. It's like they changed the algorithm up on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was so good at it too. My bosses loved that.
The funny thing with my flight, or in general with flights nowadays, is you actually have stuff like flight radar. So you can see where your plane is staying or is around. So I knew, even before the ticketing opened up, I knew my plane was still not on the way. It was still too late. So when ticketing was done, I was just looking around the airport, running around, asking some people questions and stuff. And they said, yeah, if you want some more information, go to the ticketing. Those guys probably know best if the plane is late or some stuff. And I'm at ticketing about an hour before the planned departure, and asked those guys at ticketing, and basically said, I can see it's late, what do you know about it? And even they didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, they got no idea.
It's really annoying. So the airline knew the plane was late, and by like 3 hours late.
It's a big, yeah, it's a cog. It's everybody's a small piece of a big puzzle. It's, I mean, you're almost encouraged not to see the big picture.
The great thing about it.
I mean, that's how we code these systems too. To not know the big picture, we code everything to be
Indeed.
like super small scoped.
The great positive thing about it, I know a 3-hour delayed plane doesn't sound great, but it was actually great because I got compensated for it. Hanover to Mallorca is about it's just above the 1,500 kilometer limit for a higher compensation amount. So I got like 450 euro back from the flight, plus. No, that's basically it. If you are 3 hours or more delayed, you get 450 euros.
Is that EU regulation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, my best advice is simply be super, super, super nice to the gate agents, be super nice to the ticketing agents, and they can move mountains for you.
To be fair.
Like, if they feel appreciated.
To be fair, you could say that in general. Like, if you have the smaller stuff, the lower guys in front of you, always be nice to them. And those guys are the nicest people. It's never their fault. It's just they have to cope with all the people who are annoyed and pissed off. And if you have someone to talk to, and like from the perspective from one of the staff, if you have someone to talk to who is calm and knows about stuff and is just talking with you, those guys are really happy.
Yeah, they will go out of their way to take care of you. It's a matter of being calm. I only paid for missing my flight once out of those 13 times. I remember the lady was having a terrible day, and I was so annoyed. It was like number 7 in the series, and I was like, damn, the last 6 I've done this, and like I remember the ladies being like, oh, you had a flat tire? Wink, wink. And I'd be like, yeah, that's exactly right. Like, apparently that's acceptable reason to be able to waive the change fees, or I don't know. I will say I don't miss flights anymore, at least not since my honeymoon. I also don't fly anywhere. I barely leave my house, but I guess we're all kind of doing that.
What exactly?
Not leaving the house too much, but I guess you're
Not
back
really.
to normal now, huh?
Not completely. And the case numbers are going up again for us, so we have to be a bit precautionous.
Yeah, it's an interesting, man, the world is interesting. I guess we should put masks on SimAirport passengers. I saw somebody ask about social distancing.
Social distancing in SimAirport.
Man, we've got the code for it, but I don't think it'll work very well. I think that you're going to end up with not real good airport operations.
Not really. And we couldn't model as is the requirements that people have to board slowly. Like currently, I think you board in groups of 10 or something like that.
I know in the U.S. that they started packing flights again.
Completely.
Yeah, they fill the middle row.
Oh, okay.
We had a friend visit us maybe about a month ago, and on our inbound, it was no middle row or no middle seat occupied. On our outbound, like 2.5 weeks later, they packed it.
But yeah, basically, mostly we are still good. Like for Germany, life didn't change much. We never had a full lockdown or something like that.
Well, that's how it is here too, depending on who you listen to.
So you're basically free to do whatever. And I'm a bit slacking currently, and I'm saying it's because the heat. But you can just like usually go to the gym and bike rides work anyway.
Yeah, the gyms are closed here. They have the bars closed here in Vegas if they don't serve food. I don't know. I've only been out a couple of times, really. I don't leave the house that much anyway. I'm a homebody.
Yeah, same.
I like staying home. I probably wouldn't have even noticed if it wasn't for all the news.
I usually only go out for like biking, maybe gym, getting food, or visiting someone. But that's really it.
Even food these days, we generally tend to order. Although my wife is fed up with ordering and getting mediocre pickings. I think she actually took the kids out today to go to the grocery store, which the kids are thrilled. My almost 3-year-old yesterday was saying, she goes, "I don't want to stay home anymore, Daddy. I just want to go to the store." And I mean, it sounds cute, but she repeats that 45 times, and you're like, take this kid to the damn store.
Yeah, but regarding the ordering stuff, don't really do that here. We could, there's some services, but I mean the shop is literally down the not even road. It's like 50 meters, 100 meters. It's across the road, basically.
Yeah, I know you walk. You have at least.
Yeah, the next bigger one, like the not a mall, but a bigger shop, a bigger store is 5 minutes, not even with the car.
Here, you have to have a car, but yeah. I do miss that about when I lived in Minnesota. I lived downtown, and it was great. You could walk everywhere. I'd drive home on a Friday after work, park my car, and I wouldn't used to get until Monday morning. Although in the winter that sucked.
To be fair, that's somewhat the suburban lifestyle, right? Like
yeah. What? I don't drive very much here. I think I've driven my car a total of 5,000 miles in 3 years. I'm about ready for another cigarette. I might actually hit the button for my Windows machine and let it run its Windows updates for the next 4 hours.
That is a very good idea.
How do you turn this bad boy on?
You can always use some metal and just bridge the pins. Do you know how to do that?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I thought maybe since you're always using the Macs, you may not know how to use that.
Oh, I used to be a PC guy. After a few years of debugging memory and all that crap, you get tired. Especially when they just want their work done. Let's see what's booting. Just gonna need an Ethernet. Okay, I shall be right back.
I'm just placing
Okay.
lights, so don't mind me.
Starting to look good.
Yeah, once you're back, I guess we can actually see some action over here.
Good deal. I've been waiting for some action.
Bye bye, battery. Have a nice weekend, and hope we see you on the next stream. Let's decorate up some of the security down here. If any of you have some ideas to further fancy up the security down here or the little terminal up here, let me know. Because I'm running out of ideas what to put in here. Some restrooms, that's a good idea. You know what, I can just use this small space down here as restrooms. Let's plan it up. There we have the wall here, and split up here. Use this for stalls, and then urinals around this area, and some stuff to wash the hands. Door, some stuff to wash the hands, and some more stalls. Where are my doors? I need doors. Oh, there we go. So female bathroom for males. Zones. Male. And the male one looks a little funky, but it will do. And some plants. Good question, by the way, Chick. Are you usually listening to music when you're playing a game? Because to be fair, I don't usually listen. Oh, damn, I just noticed I have built the security the wrong way around. Damn it. I don't usually listen to the in-game music and just listen to my own music. Which you may have seen when I did the modding streams. You sometimes saw the little pop-up that I am actually listening to some music. Let's see if we can get this area finished and the security fixed up. Anything else we could add? Oh, we could add an... Oh, sure. Right, an ATM I wanted to add. And possibly some smaller informational stuff. Like a info display. And maybe back here. Ah, not much space over here. So let's just add a couple more of these small ones. I want this, all these spaces, this, there, over here, here, for the gate agent desk. I doubt I will need some PA speakers in this small area. The passengers must go through this security and must be in this small area. I doubt they will miss their flights. Like, there's no cafe. We could technically go up, by the way, and put something on top of you, but don't technically need it. Could also expand the below stairs area. Let's get the security fixed. I want to do it half-half, just to be sure not to fuck up security again. You saw what happened to some time ago. This moving walkway, switch directions. And then we have to switch this one too, because I built them the wrong way. Those are maintained. It's perfect as well. Too much to build in too little time. They're approaching fast. There's probably gonna be packs around here pretty soon. Oh, there you go. First passengers coming in. I think I've got enough. I think 2 are enough. I like that for the moment. So I should be able to just replace them real quick before the masses come around. And then let's just put some plants up here. Passengers know where to go. Cool, that is all scheduled to build. replace some more sitting areas. A bit cramped, this small terminal, but it's a small terminal, so you'd expect that. Oh my god, there was a Wild Arthur. Spooky. Lovely, those guys are finished with maintenance. This one is finished too. Switch directions so the people can get down here further, faster. That one's finished too. Just waiting for the last baggage scanner. And we've got an Arthur back.
I am back. Battery H. See you later. Thank you for joining us.
I fear he's already gone by now. But I said
I
bye
figured. I was trying to get an Ethernet cable plugged in.
Look at that.
Unclear if I
We've got
was
some passengers.
successful or not.
Such a small, lovely terminal, isn't it?
Could use some windows.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, could basically make the whole... not that side, there's a lot of stuff.
PA speakers too.
Nah, not for this small of a terminal. Chick already said that, but I doubt anyone will. Let's just go all boards. Put them anywhere, everywhere.
With the AI, I'm telling you, PA speakers will help.
Not on this small of a terminal. I mean, the AI has to get to this security, and all they can do is stay in the bathrooms down here or in this little small of an area up here. I highly doubt that anyone is going to miss the flight in this terminal.
If they get that far.
What do you mean?
Well, if they make it that far on foot in time. But they basically, yeah. The real question is, are they going to have to go to the bathroom or anything?
There's a bathroom.
And well, there's a restroom right there.
It's small,
Yeah.
but the terminal is
If they
small
get-
too, so
If they get hungry,
there's vending machines, which are actually pretty used. Not too much.
they'll probably be relatively highly used because they're the only source of nutrition.
Ah, the plane is already in. First plane is a small Beechcraft. Yeah, passengers are already all over here. All of them are in the secure area, the correct one. Some are still in the bathroom, some are still doing other stuff, but they are all ready to go. Hey, what are you doing? One passenger going around, thinking the other way around is better. No idea why. What's the date today? 21st, right?
It is the 21st.
Just gonna save that real quick.
Make a bug report.
I wanna take a look at why this passenger specifically. This one passenger doesn't really like the rest of the terminal. Or we're just gonna go into the corner. Never mind. Ah. Oh. I know what happened. Can you write down something?
Yep.
So what happened is, this one passenger was pushed, or was the FBO run, so the pathing run, when they were still off the sidewalk. So like, just before the sidewalk. Once they are on the sidewalk, they can only path on the sidewalk. When they are off the sidewalk, they can path back. They can path onto the sidewalk, but also, for example, into the terminal, where there's the door, or there's just a missing piece. Okay, that one's gone now. But what happened is, that was connecting passenger, and the FBO and the walking check or the reachability check and all the stuff ran before they were on the sidewalk, so they were still fine to go over grass. And what they did is walk all the way around and into here, because that's the fastest way to whichever gate agent is, probably somewhere in this terminal, either one of the bus gates or one of the upper gates here.
Yeah, I follow. I got it. Pathing FBO ran too early before the agent hit the sidewalk, so wrong reachability matrix got used.
I had one report just after we put this one live, that sometimes the FBO actually runs too late, and the passenger just does a wander task over here. So I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
That could be queue backlog.
Oh yeah, right. That could be.
Well, actually, it could be the exact same issue you just had, where once he gets on the sidewalk, he now has a no path to whatever he chose before he got on the sidewalk.
Yeah. It's probably an easy fix. Just need to take a look at it.
Yeah, I remember having a similar issue with regular gates out of the gate, so to speak.
Let's see if any of those passengers are gonna do it too. Oh yeah, a bunch of them. Yeah, all of those guys had the FBO run and stop before they actually went onto the sidewalk. So yeah, all of those guys are gonna go the huge way around the airport.
Taxiway and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that would stand up to scrutiny.
At least they don't pass the runway. But yeah, you can see the passengers going in. Still waiting for one passenger. Ah, there you go. Oh, this one. Oops. I'm just gonna remove that. That was due to the mod missing. There was a modded remote bus gate up here. And that was still assigned. But the passenger tried to use the other remote gate. I fear this person.
That passenger is.
Yeah, they won't get the flight.
No, they're not gonna make it.
Yeah,
I would actually expect FBO to. Oh, not until that gate digit desk goes away.
probably.
Kill the assignment. Kill the assignment.
Good idea. And then dismantle. Come on, run an FBO.
And then
There
I
you
would
go.
expect that agent to
Yep.
get to security ASAP.
Yep. But it's still too late.
Oh, yeah. At least I know the AI works the way I think it does.
Yep, there you go. Light missed. Yeah, sometimes, especially if mods go missing, and I sometimes just clean up my mods. So sometimes if we play with mods, they go missing. Stuff, undefined stuff can happen. Let's say it like that.
So
Explain
basically, it's not a bug.
It's just an issue if you have mods and they go missing. Someday I just need to take a look at modding stuff and rework how the game loads the mods, and if possible, save the list of mods you in the save file. That way you could auto-download all the mods that are in the save file. Since instead of having mods go missing, you just click download and bam, you get all the mods. This time we've got a bigger plane, an A320. You can see some passengers still coming over, but I think some are still over here, but I think they should be able to get over. At least as far as I can tell, they are moving. They are all moving to the plane. Oh yeah, and a bunch of them, a couple of the arriving passengers did it again. A bunch of them also used the stairs. No idea why this specific layout is such a problem, but the layout I tested was not. Let me just add some side work.
Yeah, I was gonna say it may just be the double L or the U shape that they have to path, and just a weird timing thing.
Probably. I always build some test save for each thing I work on, just to have a save for it. And for some reason, I definitely never had this line of side work. So it looked basically like this. I never saw this issue. Other than that, boarding works perfectly fine. I mean, deboarding works fine. All the passengers still get home, let's say it like that, and a passenger having to go all the way around and
They just don't quite take the path most
Yeah.
expected, the path
um,
most well traveled.
I mean, they are arriving passengers. They have enough time to get home anyway.
Yeah.
Boarding works fine. Let's see. Yeah, that's all passengers. With 89 minutes left.
It could actually even be that you open the needs up for arrivals. It could be that you were just luck of the draw. Nobody was ever pathing to anything except a baggage claim that was always going to be that direction.
What do you mean?
You added back hunger and thirst for arrivals.
Yes.
And so it could be that they're actually grabbing those needs when previously they were always going to baggage claim on your map. And so that their best path may have just always been the same way, no matter what, to go to baggage
Indeed.
claim. That's a guess, but it's a somewhat likely way that the problem could have been masked.
Let's see, next play with this one is coming 1630. I think it's a bigger one too. That's not the dialogue I wanted. Yeah, next one is a 737, and I've now added that stuff. Let's see. To be fair, this if this is not working correctly, that's basically just confirming what we thought about. Oh yeah, by the way, one of the issues we fixed this cycle is a bunch of fixes for parking vehicles. One of which is the amount of money they make. In the last patch, the car could basically stack up the revenue they made, even if the car drove off the map. So whenever the car, just so you guys know, whenever the car drives off the map, you basically reuse it, just to save on resources. So a car drives off the map on the south, and whenever the next car needs to spawn, it just uses the same car and maybe sets the appearance a little bit different. So it maybe replaces the sprite. But other than that, it's the same reference or instance. But whenever this happened, the amount of money or the length the car was parking at the airport wasn't resetting. So the first time, the car maybe parked for an hour, so you made revenue for 1 hour. Next time, the car parked again for 1 hour, but the cumulative time was now 2 hours, so you made profit for 2 hours. And that was adding up to a lot of money. That's now it now resets whenever the car goes home, so when it pays, and you don't get that much money, just a reasonable amount of money from parking. Yep, no problem whatsoever now. A couple that don't immediately run the FPO, but all of them use the correct path.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys now run the FPO, so they go home as well. So yeah, it's literally just when the FPO runs in regards to where the sidewalk ends or starts.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
So we've got a workaround for it, which is nice, but it should be an easy fix too. Come on, guys. You can do it. Oh yeah, another thing. I think you were impressed about it too. The names are still going quite strong. We've got so many names in the game now.
Yeah, you see tons of them.
We are a bit slower now with updating them. I usually take a look once a week. So if you have a name you want to get into, you have a name update. If you want it reviewed ASAP, you can always write me, but usually we take a look once a week and then it's okay. I think we've got so many names now. We could theoretically throw out the name database we used. Back when we started, we used just some name database we found online. It's basically just a bunch of names which were given, I think, to US citizens in some year, plus some surnames. And the name loader will just get a bunch of random names from that. But since we've got so many people, thankfully, who've entered the name, who've bought the frequent flyer pack and entered the name, I think we're at the point we could actually remove that list and just use the frequent flyer names.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to get dupes, but
Well, tubes are fine, just they have to be separated by a long time.
yeah. We got here about 1:30 my time. What time is it over there?
22:22.
Yeah, you did right. We think, should we wrap this one up? It's a little quieter than normal. Hopefully we're not boring you guys. Hopefully you liking the music and not too tired of us.
The music is too quiet, too relaxing. Half of the people watching it already slept. Already sleeping.
It is pretty chill. I was listening to it, so we can't hear it ourselves right now. I can't. You can't.
I can. You can.
Yeah. Yeah. When I go to smoke a cigarette, then I can hear it, and it's chill. It's very, it is relaxing. I can see. Makes me want to play. Yeah, I'd say probably wrap it up. Call it a day. Gonna find a Stella and maybe get a couple of emails done. Yeah, and next stream you guys see should hopefully be us playing Sim Casino, I do believe. Won't be the last SimAirport stream though either. But next time I see you guys, hopefully we are playing Sim Casino for the stream.
Possibly with Michael then.
Yeah, and well, hopefully we get all three of us in here. If we're lucky, maybe even get Mr. Martin himself to come say hello for a little bit. But Michael might faint. He's might be starstruck, but that's okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Arthur and Joshua with LV Game Dev. If you have questions, if you got anything, always shoot us an email. Get us on Discord, Twitter, Twitch. We're everywhere. Don't forget about us. Discord.
We're usually answering pretty quick on basically everywhere.
Yeah, we have more coming for you, both SimAirport and Sim Casino, which some of you guys are going to be playing in the next couple weeks, and will be getting released in the next little bit, not too long. Hopefully, we'll see what the beta testers say. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Joshua, for hosting this wonderful shindig.
Well, thank you for coming by, as always.
Hey, I try.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can do.
I'm just gonna say thank you guys for watching, and the usual outro stuff. So be sure, if you watched on YouTube or Twitch, to like the video. If you've been live, thanks for coming by. If you've just watched the video, be sure to either subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Twitch or Twitter. We usually let you guys know that we are online, or when we are online, like an hour ahead of time. And yeah, thank you for coming by. Bye bye.
Bye bye, everybody.